what does it actually look like to live the science of mind philosophy? Not just to study it, but to practice it daily. In this Q&A episode, we tackle listener and audience questions about the core principles behind Ernest Holmes' philosophy and how to translate it into real lived experience, the power of thought, the practice of treatment, and the everyday discipline of aligning your consciousness with the life you want to create. So first question, why am I sick if I've done everything right spiritually? This is probably the most often asked question in classes, would you say? You know, there's a gap between the teachings and the experience for people. And they go, but I've done it over and over and over again. How do you address that?
I would say, what have you done?
Yeah.
Yeah, excellent question.
Because what does that mean? I've done everything right. What does that mean? You know,
well, certainly
there's some disconnect.
Well, certainly I've been in classes where they come back and they've gone through, you know, the 5 steps, or they've gone through 7 steps, and they keep going over and over, and nothing has happened. And the same is true when they have other types of healing modalities, and they say, I've done everything I can, but it's not working. What do I do?
Well, as soon as you say it's not working,
boom,
it's not working.
Yeah.
So if you go into with the idea that it may not work, you're leaving open that possibility.
That sounds like.
And I know that a 5-step spiritual mind treatment can be incredibly powerful, but it's not the words you say. It isn't about that. It's about how deeply do you embrace that this is so. I mean,
sure.
it's your consciousness that drives it, not the words of a treatment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that. But when you say it's consciousness that drives that, you've left a big part of the audience out, because they don't understand. Consciousness is such a word that means everything. And when you say, well, yet you're conscious.
Absolutely believe it.
Right.
Talking. Jay, jump in here. Save
without as counselors and kind of spiritual therapists, we have to make sure that the person knows, well, your belief is not deep enough without having them feel shame.
Right.
Because you can shame your client to, oh, well, I guess I don't have the power. Well, they do have the power. It's just there's so much junk as the years go by getting in here that the belief system has to catch up. And that can take a long time, because many diseases of your body is so scary that your mind has a problem buying into the belief that I have the power to have my body do its thing to bring ease back into its physicality.
So would that be the reason why sometimes you go to the practitioner and let the practitioner do it?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely, because the practitioner doesn't care.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's the brilliance of it, is that they're not attached to an outcome.
Yeah, they have neutrality.
And nothing's in the way. And I've seen that happen. Even there's another step in that. I have seen the children of practitioners go to their parents for treatment, and nothing happened, because the parents were invested too. But when you go to somebody who you don't know, they can absolutely know the truth, because there's nothing in the way.
Yeah, especially with children, because the influence of the parents and the fear from the parents creates an energy not only around them but within them to not buy into the belief that they can be of ease, their body can be of ease, and rid themselves, or at the very least assist the medical profession, whatever they're using, to assist them in relieving this disease in their body, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So it's the parents' fault.
right along with that is the question, then, is this somehow something wrong with me that I can't do this and everybody else is?
Nah,
Or,
No,
that's not it.
no.
or is this trauma or this loss or this illness, any of this stuff, is that my fault?
No,
What's fault? I don't
what
think
is
fault
fault?
plays into it. It's there because of a belief, an idea that one is holding, even if it's an unconscious idea, something buried back in their psyche that they're not even consciously aware of. There's still something in them that's doing that, but it's not a matter of fault.
Yeah.
It's just something that to discover and understand and rise above. And
Well,
often the help of a practitioner can really make the difference.
And, like I was saying before, it doesn't really help the person that we're helping, that we're actually knowing the truth for, is really what we're doing, even in a counseling session. It doesn't help to, I call it science of minding them, saying, well, yeah, your belief system brought this, whatever it is, a cold even, because your belief that if I get chilled, I'm going to get a cold, which evidently scientifically is not true. That
Or
if your
that
body,
germs can get me.
yeah, a
Any
germ,
of those kind of
any
ideas
germ,
buried back somewhere.
yeah, I'm here to pick up a germ or a virus. If you believe that, I bet you've got colds or flus all the time
And if
because
you're
you
living
bought
with
in.
somebody that gets a cold and your immediate reaction is, oh, I have to get away from you, then
Right.
they have that belief.
Yeah. You're just waiting.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
you're begging the virus to knock at your door.
It's a big
So
neon sign that
So
says,
listen,
get
there's
me.
a lot of people in classes that come in there and they've gone through everything they can possibly think of, and they still see this must be my fault. I can't do it. What's wrong with me? And it drives them crazy because they see other people in the class or other people getting healed and they're not. How do you deal with that?
Hmm.
Well, I learned a lot watching my wife go through her transition
Mhm,
because I couldn't find any fault in it. It to
mhm,
me was an exit strategy. And
yeah,
not that she was saying she wanted to die, because she wasn't saying that. She was
right.
saying the contrary. But the to watch it as it unfolded, it was clear to me that this was her path. And it wasn't wrong. It wasn't bad. I mean, I hated that she left, but
Yeah.
there wasn't anything wrong going on. And I think
Mhm.
one thing that we can do is detach ourselves from the idea that we need a certain outcome, because that's pressure. Yeah, I have to be healed. It has to go away. A lot of the things that we do, even though they sound like they should be in our favor, are working against us.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have found doing treatment that one of the most important elements of it is ease.
Yeah.
Nothing's in the way. That's why I love the word realization for this
Mhm.
for the because I'm not demanding it. I'm not declaring it. I'm not forcing it. I just realized it's the truth. That's the way it is.
So you've got to get through layers of your own belief system as well as layers of the collective consciousness, which we're participating in and affected by, in order to get the kind of healing that we're looking for. Is that what I'm hearing?
Well, or go to a practitioner. Honest to God, that's a real way to deal with it. Go
Yeah.
to a practitioner or minister, let them do the work and believe in them.
Because their only job is to know the truth about
Yeah,
you.
right.
They We're taught in practitioner training that yes, we listen to the story, we allow the client to vent, but that is only a direction of for the practitioner to know where the truth has been skewed and to bring
Okay.
that to center.
How does
Not
that
to
relate
not to
to,
cure, not to heal in a allopathic sort of sense, but to know the truth. That's it. That's my only job, is to know the truth. It's different when you're a minister, you're doing a little counseling, there's a little spiritual therapy, you might say, but that's all my job is to know the truth that where you seemingly don't at this moment.
I may have already told this story, but I want to tell it again about Lloyd Tupper going to Raymond Charles Barker
Oh, wow.
and going through all his problems, traveling all the way from California to New York to sit with Barker and tell him about the things that needed to be healed in his life. And Barker's mumbling the whole time. And Tupper
yeah.
finally says, what are you saying under your breath there? And he said, I'm saying not a word of truth in it. Not a word of truth in it. Not a word of truth in it. He wasn't going to buy into it.
Yeah.
And that's an important piece,
there's
because
another story that goes
that kind of stuff can infect even the practitioner if they listen too much to it.
Well, sure, because they want to be compassionate even in their neutrality of the story.
Right.
which is buying into it.
Yeah, but and thinking that they have to, if a practitioner thinks they have to heal somebody, then they've just short circuited the whole thing as well. It's a tricky game. It doesn't follow a logical way of thinking.
Yeah. So the story of Ernest Holmes and his practitioner Vitura Papke was that anytime he needed to have some practicing, he would call her. But she never wanted to know anything more than hi and hang up.
She was that good.
Her point was, this isn't about you. It must be something about me. And I need to address it in me, not in you.
Oh, wow.
Those famous words, the practitioner treats the practitioner.
So what does that mean?
Well, most practitioners initially, or at least students, believe that means that I have to treat what I'm dealing with in my life, and then I can treat for you. But that's not what it is. It's that the practitioner must know the truth for the other person. It's not about doing something to the person to their client or patient. It's about doing it to themselves. That's the whole work.
Which reminds me of the quantum philosophy.
Quantum philosophy, okay.
Of interconnectedness, and that there's only one.
Yeah.
And you're not treating anybody or anything except yourself, is realizing the truth of your own being. And so it doesn't matter about anybody else until you get to that point anyway. True or not true?
It becomes a universal thought. If I think it, then the mind of God has that. And it is a non-local, non-specific thing that's known. So by me knowing it, it's available anywhere and everywhere. But I don't have to do it. I don't have to do something outside of myself. The work's here.
Yeah. So the other question that goes along with that, that's been asked quite a bit, is why do I keep repeating the same patterns no matter how much inner work I do? Jay, go ahead with that one.
Keep doing the inner work. It's again, it's the same thing. You know, I don't want to be too general, but all God's children got stuff. And sometimes the stuff's so inbred, a lot of times because of trauma. And trauma can be a difficult thing to get through, especially if it was decades ago and you're first working on it. That's a belief system that's, back there somewhere, and takes time to pull it out, and you just gotta keep working it. For some people, it's changing up your words that you use, because the words, like John said, the words themselves aren't powerful except for what you accept they say to you. In the book I wrote about of affirmations, they're long form affirmations. I wrote somewhere in the intro or somewhere, if you don't like the words I chose, change them. I wrote certain adjectives that I felt were powerful, certain adverbs that I thought were powerful at that moment when I was writing it, or later when I was editing it, for what that affirmation based on the theme of the month and the theme of the week, what I felt made that powerful as a writer, as a minister, as et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But that doesn't mean it's powerful for Joe Reader or Susie Reader. So if you're getting the theme I was writing, great. What word in this theme that is happening this week is going to be more powerful for you? Because that's what's important, not how witty I was when I was writing it.
But you're very witty.
So thank you. So you change your word, change the words, change it up. Don't do it in the morning now. Do it in the afternoon. Maybe in the morning, whatever's happening to you physically is in the way for you to chill out and connect to the universe. Then don't do it in the morning. Stop doing it in the morning. Even if I advised you to do it later in the day. If you feel more powerful, if you feel more connected to the universe or whatever you want to call it, do it later in the day. Things like that can switch your spiritual practice up and get you more connected to the truth, and then bring in the healing.
So I would say that all this sounds like mind games.
Yay.
Yeah, I guess they are.
Someone once
Let's
told
get a
my
song.
wife that what we did was brainwashing.
Uh-huh.
And she said, "Well, maybe your brain needs a little washing."
Yes.
Well,
Mine
certainly
does sometimes.
the East traditions, for example, the Advaita tradition, is enlightenment is simply the ability to no longer be engaged by the ego mind. That the ego mind is what's creating all of this for you.
And I would suggest that most people don't even recognize their ego.
Of course they don't,
No,
because
so
they're
that's
completely
automatic.
identified with it.
Yeah, and it becomes so inbred in your belief system. You don't
By
even
the
know where
time
it came from.
by the time we're 2 or 3 years old,
Yeah.
we don't know. I mean, we're already engaged in the ego because the ego's learning from all of the things going on around it.
I think people come in with a lot of that.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure that's true. I didn't, but everybody
I've seen
else did.
attitude from infants.
I didn't.
There's
So does
character
that mean
there.
are we bringing karma forward? We're bringing cause and effect
Well,
forward?
we're bringing something with us.
And who's
We're
bringing it?
not coming. I mean, we may not come with any clothes on, but we come with some stuff.
So that
Yeah.
means there must have been a me before.
Oh no, we're not going there again, are we?
You? No, well,
Come on, get with it. You just laid it out there.
Okay.
there wasn't a Lawrence before.
That's
But
true.
there was a you before.
Ooh, I like that. Well said.
Because Lawrence is this incarnation, this version of Zohar.
The child of
whatever
Mr.
your
Mr.
universal name is. There's probably no universal name, really. That's just something we say because it's more comfortable for us as humans in this plane of action to have a name, a term that equals whatever this became. This.
But that's it.
We're in a way, who cares?
But we're dealing here with being clear about things. And if we say, oh, it might be something you came in with, then I'm wondering, how did I come in with it? And what's the me that came in with it? Because now I have a question. Larry's sitting here and I believe I'm Larry DeRusha doing all of these things, but actually I came in with this. Well, who the hell is that?
I would say at this moment, if you were in front of me and we were doing some sort of counseling or some sort of session, I would say, get over it. Don't think about that. That is not going to help you.
Thank you. I like that.
None of that, and I would probably say this, none of that shit is going to help you.
Can we say shit on this show?
Oh, yeah.
You can bleep
Okay,
it out.
all right, there you go. I want to go back to your question for a minute. I learned something years ago from a guy named Tony Robbins that I thought was really powerful. When he would counsel somebody, they'd be all in their story, and without any notice, he'd hit the desk.
Yeah. Oops.
Well, you just
I know I knocked myself off the show.
Yeah. Well, we hear you still, so keep talking.
I'll be back. It'll come back.
Keep talking. No, that's that's a big NLP thing, is to attach a sound or a touch to what you're trying to get them to understand and grab hold onto and be a part of them. You do that slap, it I don't want to say shakes them. It shakes their ego up.
Yeah.
It shakes their excuses up. You don't want to slug them, obviously, but I've seen other NLP people that I've watched online, when they're attaching a new idea to the ego, let's say, since we're talking in those terms, a lot of times they'll just do a light touch on the shoulder.
Yeah.
Because then the body attaches
It's an
that feeling, the anchoring. And it could happen in the opposite way, with the slamming on the table to shock them into that story that's keep going in their head. I'm
leaving and coming back. I'll be right back.
Okay. That's a great story and a great idea that John's come up with. There's another thing with his story about Raymond Charles Barker. There's the story about Emma Curtis Hopkins, who got to the point where people came into her office. For those who don't know, Emma Curtis Hopkins was considered the teacher of teachers because she taught many of the future leaders of the New Thought movement. The Phil Moores, Charles and Myrtle, and Ernest Holmes was a student of hers, and others who aren't quite as well known, but they became leaders in the New Thought movement, especially in the 20th century. There's a story that people would come to her for practitioner or counseling, and she barely let them get their story out. And she'd go, "I don't need to hear this. You're healed. Get out."
Yeah. She used to say, "Tain't true."
Yeah, tain't true. She probably did say that.
Yeah.
Because she knew the truth. And just like Raymond Charles Barker was muttering to himself, she just, I don't need to hear the story. I don't need to hear your woe is me, because I know the truth of you. I know the power you have. Now go do it.
Yeah.
And with no explanation of anything that should be shameful. Don't be ashamed that you haven't reached whatever point you feel you should have reached by now.
For sure.
Anyway, go ahead.
John, you're muted as well.
Oh, now you're muted. So
you're both, everything is off. Let me see if I can do it.
You have control.
No, you've got it locally muted on your side.
Oh yeah, double check when you come back in that everything was working before you click the final button to come in.
The only thing is your camera, I think.
Oh, nope. Okay, he's going out to come back in. Okay.
All righty.
That happens.
So also in this idea of healing is one of the things we've been exposed to in our lives at different times, I'm sure, is the grief.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Here. There he is.
Here he is.
Wow.
I had to really leave.
You are so powerful. You blew yourself off.
Yeah. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Remind me never to slam the desk again.
Okay, you're on a different mic now.
Oh, okay. Let me switch mics.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's in your computer, right?
How's that?
You were saying, Lawrence?
I was asking about grief
Mhm.
and how grief is so universal. It doesn't matter who you are or where you're from or what's going on.
Mhm.
And how do you deal with grief? That's a big question, but from a
That's a good question.
I'm an
New Thought
expert.
perspective, are we transcending it? Are we dealing with it? Are we going through it? Are we bypassing it?
The first thing I would say about grief, am I coming through clearly?
Yeah,
Yeah,
you're
you're
fine.
great.
Okay. First thing I would say about grief is that it is not a bad thing. My first spiritual teacher taught me that grief is a very heavy energy. It's a very slow energy because it's filling that void of what's missing.
Mhm. Mhm.
And that's its job. That's why we have that as an emotional energy to experience, is that something's gone. Could be a job, could be a partner, could be a child, could be a bunch of things. But we grieve it until we're able to establish not having that incredible sense of loss that we need to fill with something,
Mhm.
you know.
Mhm.
Mhm.
And I had a friend who is a Hindu, and he said that the Hindus have a whole thing about releasing grief. And when he offered that to me, I said, no, that's my connection to her right now. I'm not ready to let go of it. But when I was, I did. And,
Mhm.
and it's really, I think if you judge the grief, you end up with more of it because you're focused on it. So you want to just, when you need to cry, you cry. When you need to be sad, you're sad, and you just work through it and don't try to manage it. Is the best advice I would give someone.
Yeah. This metaphysical novel that I've been writing, one of the things is the woman has been going through grief for 5 years.
Mhm.
And the question becomes, how long should I grieve?
Mhm.
And that's the mind wanting to know that it's going to stop at some point, I think.
You
And
know, in the Jewish tradition, it's a year.
hmm,
Yeah, it's culturally determined.
Yeah,
why
And you can follow that or not, but there's
of
some
course.
cultures you wear black for a certain period of time,
yeah,
and a
yeah.
year is probably the standard mostly, but
Yeah,
I'm sure
and
it's others.
then you I guess in the tradition you're required to get back into life.
Which is
Which
not a
Oh,
bad idea, actually.
so in other
it's
words, I have a certain amount of time.
And I'm sure some people in those cultures hide their grief after that
Sure.
period of time
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
it's unacceptable in the general community.
A little bit like grief is the idea that spiritual awakening feels like falling apart.
ah,
I just wrote a book on that.
Ah,
That
oh,
whole
okay.
idea of spiritual awakening and how we all think that it's like an aha moment, but actually it's, oh, life sucks and
Yeah,
everything's wrong.
yeah.
And then we get the thing that we
Then the
require.
choir comes out
Yeah, exactly. The angels.
eventually, but the choir doesn't come out necessarily at the moment you hit spiritual awakening.
so
The
what is
aha
that?
moment is not always a smiley moment.
No.
So is that because the mind is losing its grip, so to speak? It's losing all of those ego-based thoughts that are have showed up in the past, and now they're not? Is it we've challenged the belief system so much that we don't know what to believe?
Well, I would say I would go with the ego thing. The poor ego gets such a bad rap. Um, I would go with the ego thing, the ego's being swept a little bit, vacuumed.
Mm,
One of my teachers, James Mellon, used to say, ego is two things. It's either entertaining God only or edging God out.
Mm.
mhm.
So when we're edging God out, and you can use whatever term you want for God, but there's a G in ego. So um, When you're edging out the truth about yourself, not the junk that we've bought into because mommy said it or this great teacher said it, so we thought, oh, it must be true because they said it, and it might have been something that was factual at the moment, but that doesn't mean it was true. When we buy into those stuff, they become part of our ego, and we are edging the universe out. We are edging the truth out by buying into the stupid stuff about us that's not really true.
Well said.
Our family never has money. Okay, well then if you buy into that, I bet you're going to have financial difficulties throughout your life because you've been taught and thus believed, especially if you were taught that as a youngster, that people with my last name never have money.
And it's not just that you say that's the way it was. Every time you say it, you're affirming it in the present. And then when you don't have, you say, see, that's exactly how it is.
There's
I have
proof
evidence.
right there.
I have evidence that that's so.
Yeah, evidence, right?
Oh my God, I'm so confused. I don't know what to do.
Yeah, you get programmed. My wife whispered to me from the other room.
I think I'm falling apart.
Okay.
So here's a good one. Am I enough? Is what I experience, understood, or become actually enough? It's the deepest question you can ask yourself. Underneath the spiritual seeking, the workshops, the practices, the books, the fear that there's a level of awakening or of worthiness they haven't reached and may never reach, drives people out of looking for it.
Well, that's the whole thing about treatment. That's the second step.
Yes.
That's the point of the second step, is to recognize who you are and what you are. Yeah. And if you can get to a place where you recognize yourself as the divine, then you speak with the authority of the divine. And if you can't get there, if you resist that, then you'll never get there. And either way works. It absolutely works.
Yeah.
You just scared the hell out of me.
You know, and I teach this, and unbeknownst to people, I'm going to be teaching treatment next Monday. I always say, because it's happened to me and I've done it, if you start a treatment and you start not buying it, stop and start over. Who cares? If you're, it's just like when you're in meditation. If you get an itch, oh my gosh, should I itch? Should I scratch it? I'm in meditation. I should be, in this centered and grounded and connecting to the universe. No, scratch your itch.
I like that.
If you have to start over in whatever spiritual practice you're in, start over. It's the point is not how good you are performance-wise, but how connected you are consciously. And that doesn't mean monkey mind doesn't get in the way sometimes. So what? Oh yeah. Tell it, okay, hi, shut up, go away. I don't need you now. And then get back into it.
And the fact that you could catch that says a lot. It says that you're paying attention.
You're aware.
Yeah.
You're working the truth.
But then you give it all up when you judge yourself.
Yes. Learning to take responsibility without judging, being compassionate to the junk that you are. We all got junk. The junk you already have twirling in that head of yours.
I got Sanford and Sons.
Sorry.
I have Sanford and Sons in my head.
Another one of my mentors, David Walker. John, did you know David?
I knew David, yes.
Yeah. He wrote a book called You Are Enough. Always have been, always will be.
Nice.
Now he's talking about the truth of you, and the book is about connecting to the truth of you, not the stuff, well, not too much of the stuff that you were taught or that you learned from the news or some stupid book that did not know about truth. Um, and that's the essence of it. You are enough. You have the power right now. Whether you've been taught to misuse it or not is a whole other story. But you have the power. So learn, take classes, hang out with like-minded people, learn NLP, whatever is going to work for you. It doesn't have to be New Thought stuff. New Thought philosophy happens to coalesce with that, but if it's something else, then it's something else. Whatever gets you to remembering, to knowing, to attaching, to working and living as the truth of who you are, and that is you are enough right here, right now, no matter what, then the work is going to start working for you.
Here's another piece of the puzzle. Holmes says that if you get a little better every day, you're doing the whole work. Where a lot of people don't see a progressive improvement, they'll say it's not working. And that becomes their affirmation, their treatment.
Yes.
And they lose the whole thing. So you have to look and accept and expect some little, and it'd be a little tiny shift. And sometimes we don't even recognize what it is. Woman came to me, asked me to treat that she'd be in a loving relationship. Her last one sucked. And she wasn't happy about that, but she knew she could be in a relationship with someone wonderful.
Yeah.
So I treated her.
Good start.
And I could see her in that relationship. And she came back to me a few days later and said, it didn't work. I go, what do you mean it didn't work? She said, my ex-husband called. We had a big argument. I said, that was the answer to the treatment because you had an opportunity to heal that with him. But you chose to continue to make it a problem. So why would the universe give you somebody else to do that with?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You didn't care for that.
And you know what? You can, yeah, I bet you can take this whole analogy of this whole time period stuff. Think about vitamins. If you're vitamin deficient in whatever, and you start taking that vitamin to alleviate that deficiency, you're not going to feel it tomorrow. A B12 shot might help you, but if you just start taking B12, your body starts feeling it, but your experience of that, you won't start feeling that B12 right away. You won't just, ooh, I have so much energy. And be consistent because that B12 has to do its thing. And that takes time, even though it's happening. So it could be happening in the universe. You're just not feeling it yet in your life.
Oh, wow.
People experience these instantaneous
like
healing.
to me.
Everybody wants an instantaneous healing. That's all anybody wants.
That's a job.
Do it right now. Right now. I want it right now. But it's not how it always works.
Why shouldn't I ask for it to be right now?
Well, everybody wants it to be right now, but that might be an ego thing.
Oh, geez, you think?
Well,
the ego seems to have more control over everything than anything else does. And it brings me back to this. We have such a dualistic language. We say, I am curing myself. Well, which part's curing which part? I mean,
wow.
It's very confusing. When I remember getting into Science of Mind at the very beginning, and I said, you know what, this is like fucking spaghetti. You gotta get some and it slithers off and then something else shows up, and and I'd walk away going more confused than ever. So I like the idea that there's only God. That's it. Walk away. I'm done.
And
Yay.
well, yay. And what does that mean? What is the definition? What is the definition of God in what you just said? What does that mean to you or to this person you're being right at this moment?
God is a self-reflexive word.
Okay, so if I said that to myself, what am I supposed to get out of that? Are you talking about God
don't
as
get
being
anything
all
out of it.
powerful, and thus I'm all powerful because I am the God of my life? Is
No,
that what you mean?
it's all ego based. It's all the ego dancing with itself. There is, as soon as language and mind comes into play, the
Mm.
ego's involved. It's
Mhm.
rather, what's the experience that I have inside? What is it that I have as an experience of self? Not what's the language around it, not what's the thoughts around it. What's in the gap between all those thoughts?
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
and in that gap is the place that the I resides. The I am. Let me put it that way. The I am
Right.
resides. So whatever name we use for it, whether it's God or anything else, doesn't make any difference. It's the mind that plays with that. It's what's the experience? I want the experience. And the experience can only be had when you start paying attention more to what's inside than what's inside your head, to me. Don't dance with that too much.
Well, I'm just thinking that there's a point in any of the New Thought philosophies. I definitely know in Science of Mind um, where you have to get away from the intellectual and into the experiential and the feeling, not the emotions necessarily, but the feeling of that connection.
Isn't that step one of
Yeah,
treatment?
but I'm talking about newbies who
Yes.
start learning this stuff, because you brought that up, who start learning this stuff, and then it becomes this intellectual exercise, especially if it's not something they believed before, but they're um, probably desperate to learn some new philosophy because some other religion just didn't made things worse in their lives. So they're looking for a philosophy that is empowering. They may not use that word. And it sometimes takes years. And they may enjoy the community and they may enjoy the classes or learning however they're learning, but until they buy into it, till they allow it to be a part of themselves, which is not a it's something that just happens, and then they become, as you are saying, where it's not an intellectual exercise, it's just a beingness. Then this stuff really starts working amazingly, even without doing a formal treatment or a formal meditation or a formal ritual of any kind. It just starts happening for you because your belief system starts equaling that idea that God is inside. God is all there is. I don't need to know anything else. Like we said, the first two steps in treatment. You get those down, you don't need the other three, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're fun.
Yeah.
They are fun.
So
They really
what's the
concretize.
takeaway?
Yeah.
What's the takeaway here from each of you about the idea of spiritual healing?
You want to go,
Well,
Jay?
yeah,
Somebody-
spiritual. We're talking about metaphysics. We're talking about things that are beyond the physical, beyond what we even know in physics, in science, and um, the the basis, the foundation, you could say, of, at the very least, Science of Mind. I don't want to speak for the Fillmores, but really, the foundation of New Thought is spiritual healing. That you can heal yourself, that the dis-ease in your body, whatever that is, it doesn't have to be life-threatening, um, or in your experience, is from your consciousness, your belief system. And to heal that is a spiritual occasion, is a spiritual exercise. And spiritual healing is the basis for everything, for bringing anything into your life. And you could say, although I'm reticent to say it, or getting rid of something in your life, because we don't want to. It's best to not get rid of things. It's best to bring in better things, and then the other stuff will take care of itself. Spiritual healing is the essence of what not only the New Thought movement is about, but we'll see, if we haven't seen it already, what quantum physics, quantum mechanics is teaching us, is proving for us, we say.
Or at the very least, at the intersection.
Yes.
John?
Aurobindo said, transcendence transmutes. It does not rectify. So I think the whole idea of healing is to transcend the thing that's there that we say we don't want. It's not about fixing it. It's about rising above it. And then it dissipates into nothingness. Yeah. I think really the process can be that simple.
Yeah.
And all this work that we do of teaching that comes down to that very notion that when we recognize that nothing has a grip on us except what we allow to have a grip on us, then we're free. And what greater thing to be than free? You know.
Fabulous.
Yeah. And I would simply say, in the words of somebody, I don't know who it was.
Oh, it was me. It was me.
Wait, hear it first, then take it. You may not like it. Yes, what did he or she say?
The truth will set you free.
Yes.
All right. Well, this is a good show. I enjoyed it.
This was fun.
Yeah.
And so I have a little bit more editing to do because there's a few words and a few statements